you so much for the introduction. And again, I am Rose Slaughter. I'd like to thank Mrs. Shirley Jones and Miss Christine for inviting me and my associates. I noticed one of my associates on the call, Cora, for allowing us to talk to you about. First of all, we're qualified to speak on care for caregivers because we're, number one, we're registered nurses, and we are owners of a registry known as Constant Care Medical Staffing Registry. We DBA the business under MediSpa. So if you'll put up those 10 tips for family caregivers, first, what I want to explain is, let me introduce Cora first. Cora Young is a registered master's nurse. She is a retired lieutenant colonel from the Army. She's also a FCN, which is a faith community nurse. Kim Staten Smith, the other nurse that shares Constant Care Medical Staffing with us, is she's an ICU nurse currently, and she's director of Brown Baptist's health program at their church. First of all, let's just dwell into and explain what a caregiver, who a caregiver is. So that's defined as a caregiver or a support person, a family member or worker, whether they're paid or unpaid person who helps an individual with what we call ADLs. ADLs are activities of daily living. What does a person require when they get up every day? They require help with toileting, help with feeding, help with walking, mainly because they are maybe disabled or cannot do these things for themselves. Family or social networks who may have specific professional training, we often describe them as informal caregivers. Then, we do have certified caregivers, which would be the CNAs, certified nursing assistants, or we have sitters, people who are, I guess, have experience with caring for people, if you will. They mostly assist with people who are impaired, again, as I said, or people who have a disease entity going on, such as a mental disorder, and as we know in the last 18 years, Alzheimer's and dementia. Those people seem to have some difficulties with caring for themselves. So now that I've given you a who and a what a caregiver is, let's go ahead and delve into these 10 tips of interest for the family caregivers. Now, that's the chart that's being shown. Now, first of all, we want to seek support from other caregivers around us to let you know pretty much that you are not alone. Together we oversee the associates of our registry, Constant Care Medical Staffing Registry. Whereas as a family member, you would oversee maybe a sister, brother, aunt, or whoever is caring for that individual that you know that care is being provided for. Taking care of your own health so that you can still be strong enough to take care of your loved ones. Then you want to accept offers of help from specific things and people that can help you. Learn how to communicate effectively with the doctors, such as when you're taking patients, if you will, or family members to the physician, you want to be concerned about what is that treatment plan? What is he concerned about doing for her or him next? Pretty much what to expect. Also, be knowledgeable of medications that may be ordered so that you can stay on track with what he has ordered. Pretty much be on the same page. So how can that family member assist? That would be a good way to assist with those two items that we mentioned. And you, as a caregiver, you need to take respite breaks. Respite meaning that You cannot give up all of your oxygen. You can be the best caregiver out there. However, you need your oxygen because they need you, and you need to care for yourself. You may be reminded of, if you ever flown, how they come on the loudspeaker and they say, put the mask on yourself first, even if there's a baby sitting beside you, because you can't not help that baby if you don't have what you need to help that baby. So self-preservation and self-oxygenation is always first. And so it is with what we're saying today and sharing with you, that in all things, you must take care of yourself in order to be effective in providing care for somebody else. Now, observe for depression. Don't delay getting help. I'm going to repeat this one. Observe for depression. Do not delay in getting help. Being an introvert or a recluse when your duties require you to take care of somebody, that's not helpful to you either. Let someone know. Seek professional help if you need that. So be open to new technologies that's out there that can help care for your loved ones. I don't know the name of this little tablet, but there's a little tablet that I saw one of my patients have, and they have everything they need on that little 5x7 tablet. I don't know the name of it, but anyway, they have phone numbers there. They have pictures of the people they can touch and call. They have games that can occupy them to keep their brain moving and motivated. And that would be an assistive kind of aid to help you as a caregiver, help them. So you don't want to just leave them sitting there. You want to keep their brain going. Also, number 8 tip would be to organize the medical information. And that helps you as a caregiver to help keep that organized. Now, we are privy to a journal. It's a journal, and it's by, if you'll write this down, that journal is called a Caregiver Manual, Caregiver Journal, if you will, and it's by Robert Green Ingersoll. That's Ingersoll. And it has an open booklet where you can write the information in there. When the information changes, you have pages in there that you can keep up with the change. As a caregiver, that is so important because it keeps your mind focused and organized so that you can better care for your patient family members. Make sure legal documents are in order, such as you want to know what is the patient family members, what is their idea of if an emergency happens to them, what do they want done for them? It's called code status. You want to know, if my heart stops or anything like that, you want to know what their thoughts and ideas are. As a caregiver, you don't want to overstep boundaries for what you want for them because they know what they want for themselves. So a lot of times, if you've ever come across medical situations and as a caregiver, that's the main thing that's always asked when they present themselves for medical care. And so you want to ask that. And on this list, number 10, we talk about give yourself credit, though, for doing your best. You can, in one of the toughest jobs there is, known as caregiver, you can be responsible to you and taking care of yourself because if you don't, burnout happens. Burnout happens. And now we're going to share some ways to prevent burnout. So let's identify what it is first. We'll share 8 signs of burnout with you today and some ways that you can really turn the tide from being burnout. Some of the telltale signs of the caregiver burnout would be that you look overstressed. Your body is acting listless. and you're acting uninterested in work or any personal activities. Things that people have seen you do, you have totally cut them out. You know, going to get your nails done, so to speak, get your hair done. You've totally cut all those things out. You detach from others and their work. You're pretty much more irritable than you've ever been. And pretty much you're emotionally overwhelmed. And you have a feeling of feeling hopeless. You don't sleep and you're not eating well. And again, you feel somewhat anxious and depressed. And other stresses here are tied to being overworked. So if you're working in a facility or if you're taking care of family members, you have to know how to get that rest or that time away to take care of yourself. I cannot stress that enough. You've got to take care of yourself in order to be effective in caring for others. Now, some more ways to support your caregivers is that you want to be available before things happen, proactively and retroactively. So you're going to ensure that either staff members or family members feel valued. You know, everybody wants to be appreciated. That's just a normal emotion that people want to feel. You're going to ask pretty much your family members in certain ways that you can, or even on a job, what is their opinion about the care that you're given? And that way, the feeling of appreciation comes again. You want to check frequently. If you know a person is caring for a family member or in a step, you want to check frequently with them, maybe every 2 weeks. Pretty much, quote, we call that checking the pulse of their concerns. Have a conversation with them. See what they're concerned about. Ask questions like, are you comfortable? Do you feel like you're supported by other family members or your job? Pretty much, how can we help? If you need to, if a person's totally depressed, then you can dish this out. You know, find out the cost of counseling or some type of assistance. This allows that individual time to get it out of their gut and to relax and be more responsible for the job at hand. Send them to a day spa. Let them go all day to pretty much deep breathe. Because as Americans, you know, we don't deep breathe. As a matter of fact, here in this point of the lecture, what I'd like to share with you is a deep breathing exercises. So together with me now, breathe in on the count of 4 through your nose. Hold it for a second and breathe out through your mouth on the count of 6. Relax your shoulders. Now, I know everybody can't speak at one time, but if you did not feel relaxed, do that again. Bring in more oxygen into your brain and into your cells of your brain helps to relax you more. As people are on the go, they don't practice that habit. And that's a habit that's very easy, but you have to do that intentionally. Everyone wants to be appreciated. Show compassion and an attitude toward the family member or the worker, if you will. Attitude, a positive attitude, shows gratitude. Doesn't matter how many children or family members that's involved in the care of people, they will not all be present. This is something major that I want to repeat again. Seeing this in nursing, seeing this in our registry of the things that we do to help family members, everybody will not be present in caring for that individual. So if you are the only one out of 10 people, self-care is the best care. So you get your self-care, as some of the points that we've mentioned before here, take away to the day spa, go get your nails done, go get your hair done. Because if it's all on you, then burnout can occur very fast. So this statement here is to take time for yourself no matter what. I want to introduce you also to some online forums. You know, just type in Google caregivers support, some things like that. Connect with other caregivers and have that dialogue with them. Again, everybody wants to be heard and appreciated. You can do the best job, but when you reach burnout, there's nowhere else that you can go. More than anything I've said today, pray. Pray. Pray that things are better and your actions will be seen, and then they'll be known, and you can take care of yourself. That's the end of what I wanted to share today. Feel free to come on and ask any questions of what you'd like us to share further. Again, thank you for having us here today.
Right, Ms. Slaughter, thank you for that presentation. It's wonderful. Learn how to take care of ourselves and take care of others.
Welcome.
Now, are there any questions or comments?
Hi, my name is Steve. I'm sorry. First of all, thank you for the presentation. I'm zooming in from California, and I was invited by Dr. Linda Brown. And thank you so very much for all the information that you've given. It has really opened my eyes to a lot of different things in regards to being a caregiver or the daughter or child of someone that's a caregiver. So I just wanted to thank you so much for chiming in and giving us all of your information and sharing. And I really, really appreciate it. And if there's any other Zoom calls that you're going to be on, please let Dr. Linda Brown know that she can share them with us. This was so incredible. It was so incredible. And I learned so much. I really did. And thank you again from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. So welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You know what, Miss Shirley, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Look, briefly, now it'll only take me 1 minute. Let me share this personally.
Okay.
I got involved in caregiving with my mother when she lived. My sister and I, what we realized as nurses, and then there's a physical therapist in our family as well, and a CNA. What we realized when my mother passed is that we had someone to take care of our mother. We shared the duties, but God gave us the vision and said, there's somebody out there who doesn't have what we had. So thus, the registry was formed, and it was formed out of people that we've seen do their jobs and that they worked very, very hard. So we're just thankful that we can have her legacy live on. And that's what I wanted to share.
Right. But thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Is there anyone else?
Yes, good morning, sisters, again. As a former caretaker for my mom who passed away a year ago, it is very important, and I think that we cannot listen closely enough to Ms. Slaughter in regards to taking care of yourself and reaching out and speaking with others, particularly those others who may be going through what you're going through. Support systems are crucial. And to know that there is someone else going through what you're going through is very, very important. So thank you, Sister Slaughter, in regards to emphasizing that. But ladies, it cannot be emphasized enough.
So welcome. Welcome.
I'd like to share.
Hello.
I'd like to share this. One other, maybe I didn't catch it or hear it. Be patient.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we can get upset with the person that we are taking care of, and we end up being upset ourselves. So it is important that you be patient with your work that you're giving to the person that needs it.
Thank you, Ms. Sister Berkeley.
I would like to share something. This is Sister Kelly Douglas White, West Douglas Smith of the Greater Greensboro Reesville Club. I was invited by Dr. Linda Brown also, and wanted to share also that as a caretaker, when you have to go to the healthcare providers, it's best to ask them for resources in the event that you're not familiar with medical terms, and ask to collaborate with other networks that may provide support groups and other things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right, thank you. Is there anyone else?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, this is Sister Janet Robertson from the Jasper County Club. And, wow, this just really touches my heart, this whole subject, because I have taken care of my mother and my father as a caregiver. And I want to just say, Sister Slaughter, that every single point that you brought up is so detrimental in that process. A lot of things you don't think about. And you take for granted, and you think that you're the only one that's going through it, and you just don't know what to do. I like to add to the list, patience is important, but I want to also add that I think is very critical. There are no wrong answers when you're trying to do the best you can do. Don't
Absolutely.
beat yourself up and think you didn't make the right decision. Making a decision is a step in the right process, and a lot of people can't even make decisions. They just don't know how to do it or afraid to do it. And when you are able to try to make a decision, you've done a lot for the loved one that you're caring for. And I really appreciate this. And wow, I think it's a message that really needs to be spread and shared with others that are taking care of their loved ones. Thank you so much. And thank you, President Brown, for inviting me to this. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
morning.
you.
This is Governor Johnson again. I'd like to say that as a caregiver for my mother was the youngest of like 8 children. And I think people just sort of expected her to be the caregiver because she was the last one to leave home. Well, if she was the last one to leave home, then her children were, we were sort of exposed and had to help with our parents and grandparents. So what I say is that when people offer you help, take the help. Make sure they understand the needs of the person that you're caring for. So, and I know I always felt like, well, they're not going to do this on time, or I hope I get this done on time. And one of the really important things that I found out early on in my caregiving is that other people will help you, but if they don't know how to move that patient, they don't know what that patient needs, and they don't know pretty much I won't say the medical way to move. Some people want to move people, just grab them and move them and put them in a chair. Well, they may not need you to grab them and put them in a chair. And just make sure that whoever helps you, accept the help and make sure that they know how to help the person that you are caring for. That's what I say. Because in the end, you can come back and have more damage done by people who don't exactly know what they're doing. And I experienced that on a couple of times too. So, and then the person that you're caring for can be afraid because those people don't know how to handle them well. That's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to take Andrea
and then we'll take Eunice Dudley. Andrea,
Hello.
you're trying to speak. You're muted, Andrea.
Okay. I would like to add, my name is Andrea Jeans. I'm they say you're always a nurse, former nurse and chaplain. But I would like to add to the that how important this topic is to share with the other generations, if you have any, because we live in such a time where families are all dispersed everywhere. And when they get everywhere across the country, to enlighten them on what it takes, to take care when they have to come back and take care of a parent, or thinking futuristic with their parent may have to be a part of their lives. And I think today, during this time, this season that we live in, where everyone is so independent, that those issues be discussed early, or as caregivers, as parents and aunties and everything, to sort of start having the conversation before one get disabled or sick. We never know when it will happen. I know for me, I became disabled all of a sudden. I was working. In fact, I left work and never did go back. But it's real important for your family members to know what it takes to take care of a person that's requires care, whether it's physical, mentally, or just doing the ADLs every day. That's really important. And pass the word on to some of your younger people in your generations, so that they know that, this is a good topic. You might need to consider it. Mama Naga always, or dad gonna be, or auntie and Naga always be the person that's independent or out there able. They may need you one day. How will you show up? That's all I want to know.
Thank you, Andrea. Ms. Dudley.
Thank you. I appreciate this presentation. It allows us to understand better how to deal with our family members as we need to give them care, or as we hire others to give them care. Our presenter mentioned having knowledge of what needs to be done in case a person decides that their end of life situation needs to be in writing. And it needs to be at the healthcare facilities that they might go to, whether it's one hospital or a medical facility or another. We've experienced in our family with us having a DNR at one hospital. So the next time the person had a challenge, the caregiver did not take them to that hospital. They took them to another hospital because they didn't want them to have to deal with the DNR. Well, it's the person who's sick who makes the situation known as to what they want to have for their life. It is not the caregiver. And sometimes people think that you're being mean or you don't appreciate what they do. But when they say do not resuscitate and it's in writing, they mean that. Not because we want that, they need that for their life or for their life in the future, so that they will not be a vegetable. So I'd like to caution us to understand that that needs to be in place. Whether children need to sign it, whether a husband or his wife or a spouse needs to sign it, it needs to be done, and it needs to be at the hospital, and it has to be notarized. The other thing, I appreciate this wonderful presentation, and I would love to have the presenter to give the organizer permission to get the PowerPoint that she showed with the 10 points. that could be sent out to all the participants on this Zoom today. And then, of course, it will allow us to have talking points as we reach others in our organization, and our families and friends. The wonderful presentation was to continue the discussion and enjoy the presentation that was given this morning. And I thank you, and I thank you all for inviting our club, which is the Greater Greensboro Club here in Greensboro, North Carolina. And I'm happy I was able to get on the call. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there another?
I would
Well,
like to say thank you, Ms. Slaughter, for a great presentation. I was a caregiver for my mother and my father. My mother lived to be 102.
Wow.
And it's really interesting that two things happened in listening to this presentation was that Shirley Jones actually taught me something when my dad became, after his first stroke, that you mentioned, and I would like to thank her again because I was trying to lift my dad, and Shirley was with me down in Mississippi, and she said, "No, let me show you the correct way to do that." And I think it was joy in his eyes because his daughter didn't know what she was doing. And Miss Jones actually did that correction for me. And that was way back in the 80s. And then the second thing is that I just realized that I was in a state of depression when working with my mom and after she passed until you brought it out. And I'm looking at the handout and I'm saying, that was me. I called my depression looking out the window. And so now it's not too late for me to go get some help, I guess.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, I was
Absolutely.
depressed. That's why I didn't want to get up. That's why I didn't want to comb my hair. That's why I didn't want to go anywhere. Shirley and my other friends was trying to get me out. And my husband was like, no, I don't want to do it. I was the depressed child. But thank you so much for this presentation. I really do appreciate it.
I too.
Okay, well, is there another one? Well, I just want to say that I was a caregiver along with my sisters for my mother, for my father, for my brother, and then my husband. And the end of life or situations, or some of them I wasn't able to, and I had those things in my hand. But I got so depressed doing the caregiving that I had to go to get a counselor. I had to have a counseling session. And I had that counseling session going through part of my caregiving after I had taken care of my mother and father. Got down to my brother, I had to have some support. I got down to my husband, I had to have some support. Because when I got to the end of the life program that I was supposed to go through and what I was supposed to do and what I was supposed not to do, it depressed me and I had to have help. I wasn't able to do it by myself. And even after the transition, I still had to have help. So I realized what it's like to have help in caregiving. And I appreciate Christine and I appreciate Rose because they have helped me through a lot of situations. With that, I want to say thank you. And the presentation was just wonderful.
It sure was good. It was good.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. It was so long.
Is there anyone else? Okay. All right. Well, we're down to the collect. Will you do that collect for us? My club sister, White.
This is a collect for women by Mary Stewart. Keep us, O God, from pettiness. Let us be large in thought, in word and deed. Let us be done with fault finding and leave off self-seeking. May we put away all pretenses and meet each other face to face without self-pity, without prejudice. May we never be hasty in judgment and always gracious. Let us take time for all things and grow calm, severe. Gentle, teach us to put into action our better impulses. It's kind of a problem. Straightforward and unafraid. Grant that we may realize it is the little things that create differences, that in the big things of life, just like this, we are at hand. And may we strive to touch and be known the great common heart of us all. And oh God, let us not forget to be kind. Amen.
All right. Thank you, Club Sister White. I enjoyed every moment of this meeting. And ladies, if there's nothing else, I want you to have a wonderful evening and put all of this into action. Thank you.
One other point, this will be
you.
turned into a YouTube and it has been recorded. So you'll be able to share it with others and look at it again yourself. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You all have a great evening.
Thank
God's
you.
blessings.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it all of it too. Good time.